Hello, Civil Squad, and welcome back to the old truck. My name is Paul. If you're new to the channel, my name is Paul. If you're not new to the channel, my name still is Paul. Now, y'all, we usually do have a sofa here. We usually are on brand with the name, okay? But I also do these quick little updates from the truck, I call them. And these are usually things to respond to people, like if I'm getting a bunch of emails or questions about one thing or whatever, and it's something we've been following, hence what we're going to talk about today. I'll do these. It's just the fastest way to get stuff out there, right? Today, you already saw the thumbnail. Two different things we're going to be talking about. This is in relation to the Lori Daybell trial verdict. It just wrapped up. She was found guilty of conspiring to take the life of her former nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreaux. Two things have come out since then. Number one, hidden true crime. Lauren, she interviewed Juror Number 5. A lot of you asked me what my opinions were on that. We're going to talk about that. And then Brandon sat down with Justin Lum, the reporter. Many of you, if you followed this, you already know Justin. And obviously Brandon, the victim of the case. And he spoke to him. So that was the second runner-up. So we're going to talk about both of them. Now, what I've done, I've actually gotten credentialed. I've gotten fancy. I've got my news. We're going to call it my news brief, okay? It took two people to help me figure out how to work the printer, but we got the news brief. And all this is right here, y'all, is I went and listened to these things and made notes as I listened to them about things that stuck out to me. So we're going to talk first about Juror Number 5. Now, first of all, like Lauren vetted it out. Hey, yep, this is who this person says they are. Confirmed it, but he did not want to be on video. Don't blame him. Okay, so he says initially had no idea who Lori was. Yes, this is always, it's not surprising because, again, in our world, it's like, you haven't heard of Lori Daybell, you haven't heard of this, or whatever, right? But I mean, nope, no idea. Chad who, right? You know what I mean? And that was great for this because it's just coming in with a completely, I call it the cold eye opinion, brand new to something. Says during the first few days, nothing confirmed she was a conspirator. I thought this was interesting because when we talked, a lot of us were feeling like, and they'll confirm this too, it was those last things that came in that really just tied the whole story together, right? But it was interesting to hear a juror make mention of this. It says in the last day and a half, evidence made it clear she was involved, especially that Hermosillo, the storage unit, video, all that. Said still learning about Chad Daybell, mind is blown away by the revelations. I mean, can you imagine? Even worse, imagine if they said not guilty, got out, did all that Googling, and saw all this, right? I mean, that would be next level. Thought it was ridiculous how much she focused on the color of the Jeep. Now, I always love hearing from jurors about what stuck out, that kind of thing, and especially with Lori, to hear him talk about her behavior and what, was kind of like, why are you doing this? Or why didn't you do that? Or whatever. Repeating things over and over made her seem untruthful. Amen, brother. Right? I mean, come on. Her opening statement felt more like testimony than an actual opening argument. Yes, remember, she was continually objected throughout the whole thing. She gave the impression off that she enjoyed the attention. This, I wanted to jump up and holler. Okay? I wanted to jump up and hug the man, right? It's so fascinating. These are the little nuggets, little textures that I love learning about from the courtroom, that he saw this. Right? It's not just us being biased. It's not just us knowing the history of Lori and being like, a certain way. Dude, never heard of the woman. Portal what? Zombie, huh? Never heard of this BS. And can see that right there. That tells you so much. Okay. Seemed to get joy from questioning Brandon and how she probed his sexuality. That part right there. Now, we talked about this before. And a couple of things that have come out in our discussions on it. Number one, it seems that this is the way for her to justify to Melanie's church, the church, whatever, for her to get a divorce. Also, another way to continually victimize Brandon years later on the stand about his sexuality, to try and humiliate him probably, or make him look bad in front of the church, whatever she was trying to do. I felt like it was still her getting one last chance to victimize him, though. And I thought that, and the juror saw this, and seeing that you're getting pleasure out of that. Another thing we talked about while watching this and whatnot was, it was like, this just seems like a grand finale vendetta thing for Lori. Like, doesn't really care about justice. And I felt like listening to this guy and him saying, yes, she got joy out of this. It's almost like a confirmation of that, right? The storage unit video was a significant piece of evidence, yes. Cell phone tracking and video footage were major. Once Alex returned and Lori helped remove items from the unit, it sealed the case. So yes, once that footage came in there and they started piecing this together, and it's like, well, yeah, they took the car and they did this and blah, 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 blah. But that right there, yes, how do you deny this? Another thing that's interesting with this too is it's like you almost have to put Alex on trial, which they did for both of them, to show his guilt in these crimes, because he's the key that links the others to it, right? So it felt like this whole time, like Alex was on trial. And in a sense he was, and he got the easy way out, unfortunately. Okay, most jurors were already leaning toward guilty. Cell phone report pushed them even further in that direction. Y'all, honestly, right? The Google searches presented in court were also damaging. That kind of testimony right here, I'm sure they were laughing about it. He's not going to say that. They had to be laughing about it. They thought they were getting pranked. They were like, this has to be a new TV show. Like, where are the cameras? There's no way this is real. You know what I'm saying? We're some kind of a little like social experiment to see if we fall for it. Initially saw a motive for Melanie. Later in the trial began to understand Lori's motive as well. Now, Lauren will bring up in this, the aspect about Melanie and charges and all that. And again, I'm very eager to see if anything comes up against her, if anything comes out with that. And I would have loved for him to talk more about that. So as far as like juror revelations goes, this was pretty tame, right? Pretty tame. We got some answers to questions, pretty tame, but also the trial in comparison to the other ones was pretty low key, as it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, Brandon's, honestly, in my opinion, was getting re-victimized. Like getting put up there and having to go through all of Lori's BS. It was just another way for her to get her last stabs into the poor man, because it didn't work the first time. Now, let's talk about Brandon and Justin. Okay, I only got a few for here. So it was a rather short interview. So Brandon wants to be the best husband and father he can be. Family is very, very important to him. We saw this on the stand when he, the very first thing that he was the first person out there. And I felt like the jury probably saw this and resonated with that, right? He seems like a very stand-up man, very concerned about family, very concerned about his children. He says now that trial is behind him, he wakes up, he goes to work and just wants to return to a normal life. I was literally sitting here putting myself in his shoes, because remember he said, I just want to go back to anonymity. Like obviously he's going to get the stuff out, done, whatever. But I was like, that must have been such a freeing feeling to wake up and go to work and be like, oh, that is done. Done. You know what I'm saying? That part of this process is done. I'm just Brandon Boudreaux going to work. Looking forward to my lunch hour, looking forward to 5 o'clock, whatever his situation is, right? Gonna bitch about, traffic on the way, whatever he does, whatever normalcy he has. And that's the key word, normalcy. I'm sure he loved that. He said he felt anger and a wide range of emotions during cross-examination. As we can imagine, right? She was up there just going at him. None of the defense's questions caught him off guard. Yeah, he was expecting the worst. Look who you're dealing with. When asked about Melanie's charges, he said when crimes are committed, people need to be held accountable. Okay, now this is interesting because in live chat, before I saw this, I was like, I wonder if the prosecutors came to him and was like, Brandon, do you want us, push charges against Melanie? And I was like, I wonder if he'd be the type to be like, no, I'm good. My interpretation now of listening to him was he was in his own way saying, if the prosecutors come to me and they say we've got evidence that she was part of committing a crime, hold her accountable. I felt like he was like, no love lost there, honey. If she did something, come on, let's go back to court, right? He's writing on a book. He's working on a book. He's unsure if it will be, hold on, let me start that over. He's working on a book. He is unsure if it will be released publicly, but it's definitely something he wants to have for his kids. So yes, totally connected with him. To me, writing is therapeutic. I would love to finish writing my book. My collection of short stories, it's been therapeutic. So I identified with him on this when I was like, yeah, even if you just write it and never put it out there, it's something like, it's like a personal, you get it out. You get it from here to here. I'm a huge advocate. Like, if you follow me, I study creative writing and all that kind of stuff. writing is very therapeutic in that way, right? Especially in the day of this in digital and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was cool that he said that. Will I read it if he puts it out? Obviously, right? I mean, come on, take my money. Brandon spoke about the painful experience of having to identify the children. So remember, he was the one who identified JJ and Tylee, right? He went up there, he did that. And that was just so amazing for him to do it for everybody, right? Can you imagine Kay and them having to, I mean, come on, right? So here's the thing. This is a thought that I had when I was preparing these notes and listening to that and just kind of scheduling the week out. And all of a sudden this hit me and I was like, I am so sick of Lori Daybell. I am so sick of her picture. I'm so sick of her name. Thank goodness this is just, and I say done, I know it's not done. There's going to be appeals. There's going to be this. There's going to be headline. Obviously, right? But even me not being personally associated with, this were my family members this was done with. These were my kids. This was my uncle. This was my, whatever, right? For me to have that feeling of oh, that vile, evil thing is gone. And Chad, too. I'm not excluding him, but we're just talking about Lori here in this video or whatever. I can only fathom what Brandon, Kay, Larry, Kresha, all, Colby, everybody is feeling of lock the key or throw the key away. Lock the door and throw away the key, right? I mean, come on. Oh, my goodness. So I thought these were interesting, just closing it out. Juror number 5, yep, great, glad you did your thing. I thought he sounded like a solid juror, totally trusted him. Brandon, glad that he spoke out. Yes, once he gets whatever he needs to get done. I mean, I'm all here for whatever the man wants to do, as well as all of them. If they all want to put out books and do it, go for it. Whatever you got to do to heal from this horror, please, right? Do it. You earned it. You deserve it, right? So that is it. Let me know if you watched the 2 things. What did you think of Juror 5's, stuff that he said? I mean, I thought he was on point with everything. What did you think of Brandon? Did you think that Brandon was low-key saying, yeah, charge Melanie, right? Let me know in the comment section. So that's it. I appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out with me in the truck. You're over here in the passenger seat right now. Just sitting over there. We're going on a ride. But that's it, everybody. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. I will see you on the next go-round.